I'm Rana Mitter. I'm a historian of China and East Asia at Oxford University. But in this series, for the first time, I've come to visit South Korea to find out how it's become this region's silent cultural superpower and why that matters to its people. As pollster Kim Ji-yoon told me, South Koreans still vividly remember how powerless their country once was.
Korea was always kind of the periphery. It was an ally of the United States, but basically considered to be a little brother, and it used to be the colony of the Japan, and before a long time ago it used to be a sort of a really de facto colony of China. So Korean people have kind of inferior feeling toward the superpowers and always wanted to be in the mainstream of the global power, particularly in the cultural wave. Well, this is the first time that Korea started to export to our culture. And it's a really good feeling, actually. And we are popular outside of Korea.
Movies have played a big role in this. But the genre that's really conquered Asia and beyond is K-pop. Kim Ji-yoon, though, questions how Korean it really is.
K-pop is not really a Korean culture. It's a Western culture. If you really want to show and demonstrate the Korean culture to the foreigners and to other people, then you have to delve into what really had and maintained so far. So they are going back to traditional. And traditional doesn't have to be boring.
True, K-pop isn't a million miles from Western pop music, but it is somehow distinctive, slicker, sharper, more overwhelming. Its performers train for years and compete for the chance to debut. Its dance routines smack of military precision. Its music videos look like movies. But how and why did the spread of Korean pop culture actually happen? With his company DFSB Collective, Bernie Cho has played an important part in making K-pop available on the world's major download sites. As he explains, one of the biggest surges in the Korean wave came in 2002. In 2002, television drama director Yoon Suk-ho had a hit with a romantic series titled Winter Sonata. And then, in 2003, it was broadcast on cable in Japan. The response was a drama in its own right.
After Winter Sonata was broadcast, so many Japanese tourists visited Korea, and they also visited the location where Winter Sonata was filmed. And it also had an impact on the interest of Japanese people in Korean culture, food, fashion, and other things. When people talked about Korea in meetings or in conferences, they usually started the dialogue mentioning Winter Sonata. All this made a big contribution to improving the bilateral relationship.
And Korea's authorities recognised the importance of the country's cultural producers in a fairly active way, as South Korean Culture Minister Kim Jong-dyok told us.
Through K-pop, Korean movies, dramas, and of course literature, Korea has become one of the most accessible and well-known countries in Asia. Korea has a unique but diverse culture, which, like the UK, is both traditional and contemporary. It sets it apart from other East Asian countries such as China and Japan, and make it attractive to Western taste. It has long been the policy of the Korea government to invest in culture as we understand the political, economic, social benefits that culture plays in modern developed economy.
One reason it was able to break big in Japan was the easing of import restrictions on cultural products between Tokyo and Seoul. But another factor that propelled this success was her Korean record company's deliberately international strategy. They taught her to sing in Japanese. I went to meet music producer Kim Tae-sung, chief executive of the production company Iconic Sounds. I asked him how K-pop had set about selling itself overseas.
We do create a song in English first. She writes the Korean lyrics because I gave her that kind of full control for her to do that on her own. And then she also even writes Japanese lyrics after writing the Korean lyrics.
In the past, Korea would look to Japan and look to the US for ideas and inspirations. Perhaps some of that's coming backwards now to where people in the Japanese music industry or other countries are looking to Korea to see what are they doing right and how are they doing it.
So one way or another, K-pop is crossing a lot of borders. It's popular in the Middle East and South America, as well as in East Asia. It hasn't quite taken off in the West in the same way, though. And I wonder if that's because most K-pop acts reflect a regimented culture of centralised corporations and social conformism. After all, the one K-pop song that did break globally definitely wasn't a drilled, manufactured, teeny bopper product.
Gangnam Style.
He really shattered the formula of what people thought would be that breakout style, that breakout artist, that breakout moment for K-pop. Many people assumed it would be a boy band or girl band. They didn't expect it to be a 30-something hip-hop artist who came up with this crazy video. But even though no one expected it to be him, in many ways I'm actually glad it was him, because he's really rebooted and refocused not only the media, the government, but perhaps the public's idea of what will succeed worldwide.
I'm at the international airport just outside Seoul, waiting to fly home. And I do think I've seen a real cultural turn here in South Korea. For a long time, the most important thing in the society was growing the GDP, and that involved a certain amount of regimentation. And as for the economy, so for culture as well. But it seems to me in recent years, things have been changing. It's a messier culture, more vibrant, more individualistic. And that's not always comfortable. Sometimes that means dealing with the traumas of the past or of the present. But paradoxically, the difficulty that culture can cause society might be the way in which Korea can appeal more to the outside world. Its culture having that messiness, having that sense of roughness at the edges, is actually, in many ways, very attractive. And it might just be Korea's best hope for giving its culture a genuinely global presence.